Alright guys, what's going on? So today's Tuesday, obviously still not here. Alright, I hope y'all have been having a good week. I can't wait to come back. Not really, but whatever. So I'm gonna go over some word problems. We're gonna go over the same thing. We're still doing quadratics, but now it's gonna be in word problems. And this is mainly what you're gonna get on tests and the STAR test, okay? So please pay attention today. After we go over these 4 different problems, you will have an assignment on Schoology to where there's problems like these that are kind of worded the same. They just have different numbers. So I'm going to have you work on that once we're done with these notes. Okay, it should be quick. It's only 4 problems. Alright, so number 1, the area of a particular right triangle is given by the formula S times the quantity S plus 4 equals 192, where S is the length of the smallest side in centimeters. What is the length of the smallest side? Alright, so I have an equation, right? I'm trying to solve for S. So I have S times S plus 4 equals 192. So remember, just like yesterday, there's 2 different ways you can do this. You can either graph this side, or this side in box 1, this in box 2, right? Or have S times S plus 4. And then instead of 192, I'm going to subtract 192 from both sides, right? I would subtract 192 because I want it to be 0 so I can look at my roots, zeros, x-intercepts, and solutions. So if I subtract 192 and that's equal to 0, now I can put this into Desmos all in one line and look at the zeros, okay? So whichever way you prefer to do, just be careful here because you will have to put y equals for this, right? Because this is just a number, so you do have to put y equals. Alright, so I'm going to go to Desmos, alright, and now I'm going to use the second way. So I have, and remember, you have to replace any variables you have with x. So this is now going to become x, right? You have to use x instead of s, okay? So this is x times the quantity x plus 4 minus 192. Right? So if I zoom out just to see, okay, so here are my 2 solutions, negative 16 and 12. Okay? So now, what is the length of the smallest side, right? So it was either x equals negative 16 or 12. But what is negative 16 centimeters, right? That makes no sense. Okay, so it cannot be negative numbers. When we're dealing with the real world, we can't deal with negative numbers. So my answer would be 12, which is B. Okay, so just be careful, right? No negative numbers in the real world. Okay, Cole kicked a football. The equation h equals negative 16t squared plus 60t describes the height of the ball t minutes after it was kicked. Approximately how many seconds went by before the ball hit the ground? Okay, so we have this equation, right? And this describes the height. So if I graph this, right, and I have h equals negative 16 t squared t squared plus 60 t. Okay, so this is the height of the ball, right? So he starts at 0, and then it goes up 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then it reaches that maximum of a height at 56. I don't know what they were talking about. And they want to know how long it took, right? How many seconds went by. Okay, so if you look at this, so it started at 0 seconds, right? So imagine this is the ground, right? It goes up and then it comes all the way back down 3.75 seconds later. Alright, so it took 3.75 seconds, which is D. Okay, so it took about, and the reason they put 3.8 because it says approximately, so they want you to round, okay? And so 3.75, right? The 5 means you round up. So that's why it's 3.8. Okay? That one's a little tricky. Just remember that when it says h of t, that means it's talking about the height, right? This is the height, okay? So it took, if it started at 0 and then it took 3.75 seconds for it to come back down. Okay? Let's go to the back. So the theater seats 600 people. Lately, the theater has been filled every night. The owner wants to raise the price, which is now $5, but he knows with higher prices he will lose customers. He uses the following equation to estimate how much in dollars Y he will make if he raises the price by X dollars. If the owner wants to make $3,500, what is the least amount he can raise the price of tickets? Okay, so we have this equation right here, and they tell me, okay, he wants Y, which is the amount of money he makes. Okay, this is Y, how much in dollars, right? He wants to make. So we have this equation, but we also know that he wants to have 3,500. So I have this equation and this one right here. So now I have a system of equations, right? I have two different equations, so I need to plug both of these in their separate boxes and see where they intersect, right? And they want to know what is the least amount. The least amount. Okay, so I'm going to graph these. So I have 3,000 plus 350x minus 50x squared. Okay, and then my next equation is y equals 3,500. Right, so I need to, obviously I'm going to have to zoom out to see where this is at. So I'm going to have to go up. Okay, so here I see my two solutions, right? So x is either going to be 2 or 5, but they want the least amount, right? The least, that means the lowest. So which one's less, 2 or 5? Well, obviously 2 is less than 5, so my answer would be C. Okay, so be careful, because this is how it's going to start to work out, where they give you an equation and then they tell you somewhere in the problem what they want it to equal to. And so that's when you're going to have to do something like this, where you find your two equations and see where they intersect. Alright, let's go on to number 4. To find the sum of the first n positive integers, the formula s equals half n squared plus half n is used, where s is the sum and n is the number of integers. How many integers beginning with 1 are needed to give the sum of 820? Okay, so basically I have this equation, and then I want s to also equal 820, right? Okay, so let's do this. Let's plug this in. So I have 1 divided by 2, and remember, s is now going to become x squared plus 1 divided by 2x. Nope, I got stuck at the bottom of the fraction. And then I want y to equal 820. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. And so now I need to go where it's 820. Right, so I have 40 and negative 41. 40 and negative 41. Well, 40 is my only one here, and the reason negative 41 is not there because this is the real world. We don't deal with negative numbers in the real world. So my answer would be C. Okay, so again, this is how the word problems are going to work. They give you the equation, and then somewhere at the end they tell you, okay, they want it to equal this, and that's what you have, where you're going to have to put this into box 1, this into box 2, and see where they intersect. Okay, so right now you're going to go on to Schoology and do your assignment in this same folder. Okay, it should be quick and easy, and if you didn't finish yesterday's work, don't forget you have to finish that as well. All right, y'all have a good day.